A few days ago, while scrolling through GameJolt, I stumbled across a game that seemed very interesting to me. The game was titled The Twisted Carnival, and despite never seeing it before, the thumbnail looked very promising. After clicking on the game to see more of the screenshots, I was met with this screen right here, which only heightened my curiosity towards this game. This game is tagged for mature audiences. It could contain content you may not want to view. The game is also listed to have cartoon violence, intense fantasy violence, and even realistic blood. And this all just got me very excited, as I really dislike how kid-friendly the series has become, especially in the recent years. The screenshots themselves also looked great. I mean, especially the prize place and Whack-A-Boy minigame screenshots. They both just had that nostalgic Scott vibe that I really only get from a few fan games. In a few of the other screenshots on the page, we can also see how the animatronics actually look. And let me just say, this Toy Chica design is one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen come out of a Fnaf fan game. This excitement I had towards the game quickly turned to disappointment, however, upon finding out that only a demo of the game had been released, and the developer has yet to post any updates in over 2 years. So unfortunately, I think it's safe to say that this project was cancelled. And that's really such a shame because the screenshots do look so promising. Luckily though, we do still have the demo, which surprisingly has a lot of stuff to check out. So I went ahead and played it for myself to talk about with you all today. So join me as we look into The Twisted Carnival, a cancelled FNAF fan game. The game opens up with a traditional Five Nights at Freddy's menu. We got new games, settings, and extras, which I will get into later. We can also see who looks to be Freddy and Bonnie just staring at us right here. Upon actually starting a new game, we are shown a cool little loading screen with a sign that reads, "Help Wanted, Nightly Security Guard, Monday through Friday." After this, we are thrown directly into the game, and instead of taking place in an office, we are instead stationed in one of those booths from the carnival. We can use our flashlight to check what is in front of us, and also use this button up top to close the curtain on any approaching animatronics. Behind us, we have a computer, and there's also this wooden doll to our left. And oh my god, this thing, it gives me flashbacks. This wooden doll needs to be looked at from time to time, and if you do not check on it enough, you will be jump scared. On the computer screen, we are able to observe the entire carnival. There are 9 cameras in total, and they are laid out in this convenient grid pattern to make sure we can see everything as easily as possible. For night 1, we must fend off against Bonzo and Chixie, who are this game's versions of Bonnie and Chica. Bonzo and Chixie from time to time will wander around until they eventually reach your window. When at this window, you will need to hold the button above you for a few seconds until they go away. And let me just say, the way these animatronics look when standing right at the window, especially Chixie, is just so scary. Also present in night 1 is Bear Hug, who is this game's version of Freddy. Bear Hug is much different from Bonzo and Chixie, however, as he will not appear on the cameras. So to get rid of him, you will need to listen in for when he is getting close, and because the curtains also don't work on Bear Hug, you will need to instead shine your light on him to stop him from killing you. Think of it kind of like the way Foxy worked in FNAF 2. However, the difference with Bear Hug is he doesn't actually leave and will stay there the whole night. So you're really just flashing him to stop him from killing you, opposed to flashing him to get him to go away, if that makes sense. After completing night 1, we are brought into our first minigame. And these minigames are kind of formatted as cutscenes, and they are done in such a sick style. The presentation in these really is just so great. This cutscene depicts David, who is the phone guy who talked to us in FNAF 1. David is talking to his mother. His mother tells him that he cannot keep doing this and it is not healthy for him. However, David believes something deeper is going on at the carnival. Apparently, something with faulty wires occurred at the carnival, leading to the loss of David's sister. And David, being an ex-cop, feels the urge to dig deeper into the events that took place, while his mom feels it is unhealthy for him and he should just believe the police report. After reading through that first minigame, I was loaded into an arcade version of the carnival. And after roaming around for a little bit, I ran into this NPC who invited me to play the prize roulette. The description read, "Cycle through a gauntlet of games. Complete as many as you can before the time runs out. Reward, tickets." So, I of course hit yes. In this game, I was supposed to be hitting these cones with a ball, but I was just very confused the entire time. I did eventually manage to get all the pins though, just out of pure luck. The whole time there's this funny wooden guy just dancing in the background, and for some reason this whole thing just gives me Pizzeria Simulator vibes. Just the way these minigames are structured really reminds me of the minigames from that game. After knocking down all those pins, I was brought on to the next game, which was one where I was supposed to shoot this marionette head. At least I think that's what I was supposed to do. Just like the last one, I had really no idea what I was doing, but somehow managed to actually get through it, bringing me to the last game that I got to try. Now in this one, I was supposed to spam click on this hammer to hit it, I'm pretty sure, but I only had 3 seconds left from my countdown, so I didn't even get to see what happened. Anyways, after all of those mini games, you are brought to this neat little gift shop where you are able to spend all the tickets that you just earned. And I think that this is just a really cool concept, especially because some of these rewards will actually help you in game, like these flashlight batteries which will make your flashlight last longer, or the computer chip which will add a motion sensor to your cameras, or you could just buy some cool plushies for your desk. Alright, so now moving on to night 2. And tonight a few more threats are added, such as Foxtrot, who is this game's version of Foxy. Foxtrot needs to be monitored on the cameras. He will first begin in his booth until he eventually moves on to this camera right here. After moving on to this camera, he will then run away and eventually show up in this window, which is behind you, located behind the wooden doll's head. When Foxtrot arrives at this window, you will need to turn around and look directly at him. This will cause Foxtrot to run around the tent up to your window, where you can then turn around and close the curtain to get him to go away. Other than Foxtrot, more characters will be added depending on which minigame you played. For example, 2 characters who are able to be added are Cotton and Shopkeep. Shopkeep will appear in your room at random, and they are pretty simple to get rid of. You just need to click on him and then turn around and click on him again one more time, and he will go away. Cotton, on the other hand, is way more annoying. Think of Cotton as a different version of Balloon Boy. They will appear in your office at random and just mess everything up. In my game, they shut off my computer, leaving me with absolutely no knowledge of where the animatronics were. Just like Balloon Boy in Fnaf 2, to my knowledge there is no way to get rid of Cotton, but then again I could be wrong. There's also these other wooden dolls which I got in my game, and basically you will have these 3 different masks in the top left of your office, and each mask scares off a different one of these 3 mannequins which will sometimes appear in your office. Now these guys were pretty easy to deal with because it's not like putting on the wrong mask will instantly result in death, so they didn't really cause too much trouble during my playthrough. One more notable thing about Night 2 is during the Night 2 phone call we learn a little bit more about the story. David admits to the player that he is a private investigator and then tells us about how 3 weeks ago a group of 5 kids went on the Ferris wheel, only to come down not breathing. Doctors were unable to explain what happened to the 5 kids, however David doesn't buy it and thinks something deeper is happening. After finishing up Night 2, we are then brought to another minigame. This minigame depicts David speaking with the owner of the carnival. The owner tells David that he's very busy and to make it quick. David asks him if anything strange has happened lately, to which the owner responds saying, "Nothing much, just over half of my workers quitting or vanishing on me." He then talks about how all the employees were scared after the police showing up, before letting David know that he is free to have a look around the place, as long as he doesn't break anything. After this, we are then set free into the minigame carnival once again, and this time I foolishly played Cotton's game, adding him to my Night 3. His minigame was pretty fun though. You needed to try to get as many cotton candy pieces into this bucket as you could, and while the concept is very simple, it worked the best out of all the minigames I had played up to that point. After finishing that up, I actually earned quite a bit of tickets and went ahead and bought myself both the battery and the computer chip before moving on to the 3rd and final night of the demo. Other than the addition of Cotton, there was no new animatronics added to Night 3. This was very unfortunate as I was really looking forward to seeing what other characters the game would have in store. Looking on the wiki, the game does seem to have a lot more characters though, so I'm guessing if I had chosen different minigames, there would be some new characters. Now, after getting through Night 3 relatively easily due to my newly upgraded flashlight, I got the final minigame. This one has us roaming around the carnival once again, however this time it looks different. Instead of wearing green, now everything is shrouded in purple. We even have what appears to be the same badge that the purple guy has. Now, it's not yellow in this game, but it is in the same spot. I'm not sure if this was leading up to something like us actually being the killer, but it's a cool detail nonetheless. Anyways, we just have to walk around interacting with different parts of the carnival to learn more about the area and how worn down it has become. before eventually finding the exit and leaving, which ends off this demo. Now, other than the extras menu, which features a work in progress custom night, there really isn't much else to check out from the game. Based on the demo alone though, I do think that this fan game has serious potential. I mean, all of the pieces are there. Horrifying animatronics with interesting gameplay, a unique eerie setting, and an interesting story, as well as some new additions such as the carnival sections and the gift shop. It really is such a shame that this game never ended up seeing the light of day, as I would have really loved to discover more about the story as well as survive against many more animatronics. Now, one thing that did dawn on me after playing through this game was that it was a little dramatic labeling itself as a mature game. I mean, it states to have realistic blood and all this stuff, but to my knowledge, it just wasn't present. Maybe it was going to be added later in the finished product, or maybe show up in a later night, but I guess we will never know. Let me know what you guys thought about this game though. Also consider leaving a like if you guys enjoyed and subscribing to see all of my future uploads. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.